for G3 final presentation.
We have the video.
How do you think you did overall?
What the? No, buffering.
Okay, do you think that, well, I think that we've done very well. We've modified guns and fired
Dang it, buffering.
Unfortunately, Colton's didn't work out so well, but we finally got to work some of the times, and also mine's been fairly improved. It is 100% working right now, and Mohammed's broke. You see it?
Yeah, it looks cool. That's what's important. Overall, I was able to take apart my notebook and extend the spring to make it stick.
He's touching. Where is he?
I'm not done. So, as Mr. McLeod would like to know, what I did, I had to take the fucking spring, and I had to take the spring and I stretched it out my arm's length to make it stronger and longer, so it'd be harder to compress. But it took me a lot of time to do that because it was very complicated internals. I had to look up on the internet pictures and instructions how to put it back together, and any trial and errors I had putting these back together. By the end, I memorized how to put it back together, like a minute. So.
Okay. So identify project is approved, team members, what you're gonna do, timeline, budget, materials. So you start it.
Okay, sure. So the objective was, the idea of the project was to modify guns to make them look cool apparently, and improve the accuracy and speed of.
So the timeline, the first week was completely devoted to research and getting the needed materials, the springs, the guns. And then the second and third week was basically all devoted to modifying the guns and testing them.
Budgets. Yeah. Our project's budget was $45 in total, except almost all of our guns we already had, except Colton's,
which was $30.
Which was $30.
Our materials consisted of a screwdriver, needle nose pliers, regular pliers, spray paint, and duct tape. How has the project changed over time and why? Okay, I'll read this. Over time, the project changed a little. Initially, we were planning to replace Colton's spring, but the spring he purchased didn't fit as planned. So we decided to stretch out the spring a whole lot, and then when we put it in the gun, it would be stronger. And I was going to replace the spring on my gun, but I was surprised to find out the mechanism was mostly air-powered. And Colton also had problems firing his gun consistently. He would take it apart and put it back together, and we did that for a long time. Teacher only had one difficulty, and that was getting to a screw that was very deep in the gun that our screwdriver couldn't fit into.
And eventually it broke also.
What were your 4 major challenges? How did you handle them? My major challenge was sawing off my gun to be smaller. I accidentally sawed off a part of the frame mechanism that made it unusable. And my other challenge was putting the gun back together, which was kind of difficult because there was almost no online help whatsoever on Colton. Documenting properly was another major challenge. This was because we did a really bad documentation. And my final challenge was getting a good grade. I handled it by participating more.
Okay, and the 4 major challenges are, one of my major challenges was getting to a screw that our screwdriver couldn't get to. We handled this problem by making it a little bigger and getting a smaller screwdriver to get to the screw. Another major challenge was getting to the air restrictor of the gun. This was very hard to get to because the new nose pliers we had were too small. We handled this by borrowing a smaller pair from Mr. P. One major challenge was documentation. This was a major challenge because we didn't get good grades. We handled this problem by devoting more time to documentation, and my final problem was uploading YouTube videos because they were not, they were too long. And we fixed it by making the videos shorter and exporting them correctly.
What were 4 major successes? Taking apart the gun was a success because I chose this because I could have broken something while taking it apart. I could have broken a screw or a part. Successfully modifying the barrel of the gun was also a success because if I made a mistake, fired too long or too short, something could have been broken. Test firing was another success. Our guns fired very well considering they're cheap plastic guns. And my major success was getting a good grade. I selected this because good grades are very important.
Okay. Well, my 4 major successes were successfully taking out the air restrictors. My second success was replacing the spring in the gun, getting the 2 small screws out that we weren't able to get out with our screwdriver. This was a major success because if we weren't able to take these screws out, we wouldn't be able to take apart the gun in documentation. Because this was a major success because when we did documentation and text only, we got bad grades.
If you could start with a project, why would you still select this project? Why not? Yes, if I could start with this project again, I would choose this project. This is because I like taking apart Nerf guns and testing them.
If I restarted this project, I would not choose this because we did not have many instructions to two of the Nerf guns.
If yes, would you do anything different? What? If I could do anything different, I would not saw the fire mechanism off of my gun next time so it will fire when I'm done.
If I could do something different, I would remember to bring a smaller screwdriver because some of the screws were too small to get to. I'd also look for more instructions online.
Do you have enough background information to move forward, or would more research be helpful? No, I didn't have enough background information. For me, doing more research on the matter would be very helpful because that could have prevented me from breaking the gun firing mechanism.
No, we didn't have enough background information to move ahead. This is partly because we researched too little and partly because there isn't very many websites for instructions.
Without your documentation process through the project, what could you have done to improve on the project? It varies from week to week. In the beginning, I did a week to fair job at documentation. I usually didn't include pictures and it wasn't very helpful for another person doing the same project looking for help. After I saw my first 1 out of 4 documentation, I decided to clean up my act. I started making videos and being more descriptive.
I think it was okay in the beginning, except it could have been more descriptive, because in the beginning we only used text, and it was better towards the end when we started using video more.
What was the most enjoyable thing about working with this project? The most enjoyable part of working with this project was testing Nerf guns and testing after modifications.
Well, my favorite part was when we had the Nerf guns while they were working and we tested them out, and also when we were just figuring out what we could change with them and such.
Okay, that's it.
Hey, good job, guys. All right, who's next?
I just
Yep, right up here.